I'm getting into NFFC right now, but I can,
Okay.
yeah, I can zoom in on this. What up, guys? We're live or what?
Are we live?
Yeah, fuck yeah, we're live. What up?
We're live. We're fucking ready to go. Let's go.
Already
All
two
right.
F bombs. What's up, Nelson? So I never do live streams. George just said you're live, and then we just kept talking like we weren't live, just to show that neither one of us has any clue what we're doing.
Yeah.
However,
I,
we do
I
know how
usually have a host.
fantasy and who are we going to take on 11th?
All right. So on 11, I'm thinking it's going to be probably a wide receiver.
Yes, sir.
And
We got McCaffrey gone. We got your boy gone. We got Austin gone. Diggs, ASB.
there goes Cup.
There goes
So
Cooper, way too late. So we're looking at Devontae here, I'm guessing.
which Devontae?
Devontae Adams, I have him over.
Oh, shit. You got him over A.J. Brown?
Oh, AJ's not off. Yeah, let's take AJ.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, sleep like a baby. Yep.
All right.
I need to log into NFFC. I can't see.
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Go do that.
Okay, I'm in.
These
AJ
guys
Brown.
are watching the live stream right now, and they're like, Nelson, this is going to be a train wreck. These guys have never drafted together. They're going to argue on every pick.
Probably, but I've done like, I think 170 underdog drafts at this point or more.
Yep.
So I feel like I could draft like blindfolded at this point.
You're well versed. We got to do one of those one of those blindfolded drafts, right? Where you can't use draft room or cheat sheet or anything, and you just have to go off of memory.
That is what I am doing right now. I have nothing open other than your screen and the NFFC screen now.
All right, so here's my thinking on this. So yep. I haven't drafted with anyone as far as like sharing a team this year.
Yep.
And I've just had like a co-host. I want to be able to kind of not take a back seat, but
okay. Sorry. Keep going.
Yeah. So I don't want not necessarily take a back seat, but I want to get your thoughts on like who you like, and I'm okay with building a different looking team.
Okay.
And because I'm pretty opinionated when it comes to like the players I like.
Yeah, so right now I would just take the guy that I already talked about. I'd probably take Adams here and just
punish over Garrett Wilson.
Yes, I would. However, you could also make the case. No, I would take one of those two guys. Yep. Who do you have? Who do you prefer?
I have Wilson over Adams, but if you have Adams over Wilson, I'm fine with that.
Let's do it.
All right.
Always bet on Adams.
You got it. Always bet on Adams. Is he like a distant relative?
Yes, he is not whatsoever. No.
Oh, okay. Just checking.
All right, so yeah, like coming back now. So kind of talking about my own strategy, like on underdog, I pretty much just go right on and just cross off 20 dudes off and start looking at things immediately after I take my pick.
Yep.
And then that's why I'm always curious about the people who can't take a pick. It's like, really, you've had 10 minutes to sit here and look at this. And
sure.
you know these 20 guys are coming off. Like, let's not be serious. We know Derrick Henry's going to be gone. Your boy Olave is going to be gone.
Yep.
We're going to get into the Breece Hall, ETN. You know that's going to be where we end up, right, in that little sector?
Well, Breece Hall and ETN here in this format make it to the fourth round. So,
okay.
Third round reversal in NFFC.
Oh, and we're on the good side of that. Okay.
Yes.
I love that actually in this format. Jesus, that's stupid that they still have that. I called that the LaDainian Tomlinson rule that they implemented because he was such an advantage back in the day. But that doesn't.
That's why NFFC did that. What was because of that reason? Because if you ended up with the number one pick, you had such an edge.
Yep, that dude was the man.
So technically, on your thoughts, Henry could be available, but Waddle, Olave is going to be gone. We're going to be choosing between like Metcalf, T. Higgins, Calvin Ridley. And then the other one would be like Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah, will Judy make it that far?
Judy will be here for us. Yep.
Interesting. I'm very high on him. I know you are as well.
Yep.
I'm assuming the big three will be gone. Burrow will probably make it because of the injury stuff, right?
He's been going not enough of a discount for me, but he's been going like in the early 4th round. So like the Chase owner is still, stacking with Burrow.
Yep. And we're not going to get Hurts, I would imagine. If Hurts somehow made it, we would be like obligated to take him with AJ.
That's a smash pick for me.
Yep, smash.
He's the number 1 QB for me.
So
although Mahomes was
over him, but fair enough. 1 and 2, you're splitting hairs at that point. We just had Hurts go, so fuck us. Waddle's gone, Henry's gone. Someone took Jonathan Taylor that early. I don't get that. I don't even like Taylor when he didn't have all these issues, but that's fine.
No.
I love Devonta Smith. I don't know if that's like something you like doing in a league like this, where it's best ball. I would definitely.
I do if we had taken Hurts in the 2nd round.
Yeah, fair enough. And then running backs that are on the board. I'd never take Najee, never.
Yep.
I would take the risk on Josh Jacobs here for sure because you just don't draft scared. Fuck it, Although we do have Adams, and I don't know how you feel about that in traditional season long.
Okay, ready for this?
Yeah.
I did one of these just last week, and I got Jacobs at 512.
Jesus. See, he just left. He just went. So this is a sharp room. He just went round 2, pick 11. You got him in the 5th?
So poor team 2 doesn't realize that I am fading Jacobs, and I have a 5.12 share of him.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, at round 5, you have to.
Yeah.
Okay, so Josh Allen could make it to us, and I think it's a no-brainer if he does.
Yeah. For me, it's Allen, Gibbs, T. Higgins, Metcalf, Judy, Ridley. Like any of those guys, if you said I favor this one over the other, I'm okay with.
Good. I'm glad you didn't say Andrews. I'm not an Andrews man at all.
Andrews is.
I can go into why, but we don't have time for that because we're about to pick.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I'm not big on him. Devonta's the smash pick here. But let's take Allen, and that's an easy one here for us, in my opinion.
Josh Allen, right?
Oh, yeah. All day.
So, as you know, because we've been talking about this, but we haven't drafted together, I'm an early QB type of guy this year. I never have been, but this year I am.
There's a lot of data stating over the last 3 seasons. Sorry, man, Josh Allen and these guys are not built like your traditional pocket passer. It's a total different ball game, and you got to move with the times. Fields is the only reason I don't take Allen there would be to try to get Fields, but that's risky, right? Because you may not get him, and Josh Allen fell, so just take him.
Yeah, so in this format, it's 6 points passing touchdown.
Yep.
So that's important to.
You're right, for Fields. That diminishes Fields. Good call.
Yep. So I want to bring that up for the people listening and watching. So that's the reason why you're seeing quarterbacks go as early as they are. It is for that reason. You know what's crazy? So I've been doing about 4 or 5 underdog drafts a day now just to try to catch up. Mm-hmm. And Ridley's ADP over there is insane. He goes in the 2nd round.
You know what? You get into after the first tier, and people get really fucked up on the 2nd tier because it's like Judy, Ridley, all those guys. You're like, Ridley has that brand name from Atlanta, and I personally don't think he will pay off at that particular ADP, and I have a ton of them from like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
So currently I'm staying off, but that's how I kind of draft, is taking advantage of like more of the market, more so than pure player selection every time.
Yeah.
That said, if anyone asked, like, why did you almost win the BBM 4 or was it 3 last year? 3?
Yep.
It's player selection. It's like I had 0 shares of JT and I had like close to 40% of CMC, right? Like those are you just have to take stands on players and be right, or you're not going to win shit.
Yeah. Yep.
And trying to hedge and get a little piece of everyone is also not the way to do it. Anyone that plays DFS knows this, that if you think 150 lineups is a lot and you can hedge, you're an idiot. That's just not how it works.
No, you got to take stands on players, and that's my style of drafting in season long and in redraft is, I like certain guys. What I've learned though is I've calmed it down a little bit through the years with like the first couple of rounds of players, because you have a guy go down for injury, and you have 40% or of your first round pick, you're toast. So and there's enough good players going in the first round that I can mix it up a little bit.
Totally agree with that.
Like perfect example, like we went AJ Brown instead of CD. Adams, like I could go Garrett Wilson, mix that up so I don't have a ton of Adams or Wilson.
Of course. I totally agree with that. There are a couple people though I will take some stands on early.
Who's your guy? Give me your top 3 guys in the first 3 rounds
that I'm not drafting a lot of.
That you're not drafting a lot of. Let's start with that.
Next to 0, Jonathan Taylor.
Okay.
I'm kind of looking through this list now. Chubb has moved up too far for me. I was all about Chubb earlier, but good Lord. He's been bumped all the way up to the top or the back end of the first round.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, I don't have a lot of Barkley because I don't know why. It's just not a guy I've been drafting. Every time I'm faced with Pollard or Barkley, I always take Pollard.
Okay.
I just fucking love Pollard, and I'm not going to quit that obsession.
All right, so no Jonathan Taylor, not a lot of Barkley, and
no Najee, but I know he's a little past the second. Very little Stevenson. Looking through my underdog exposures here.
Yep. Who are your top guys?
My number one receiver got hurt today. I heard in Slack, Rashee Rice, which is fucking terrible. I don't know if anyone has heard if he's actually hurt or if it's just like a training camp thing.
Okay.
But I absolutely love his film. Like, I don't want to get all narrative, but the dude is just a baller, right? Like, that's what he looks like to me.
Okay.
And now you're going to put a baller with Mahomes. That seems like it might work out. Yeah.
Yeah. So far in camp, it seems like they've liked him, where he's gotten a little bit of run with the first team offense.
Yep. So, I mean, obviously, like when you look at exposures, late round people are always going to be your highest owned.
Yeah. So give me some early ones. Like, who are the guys that like you're up there in like the 30? Do you have guys in the 30% range in the first 3 rounds?
That's a good no. I would say in the first 3. No, I'm like you. Like, there's no reason with guys all that talented and their projections are not too far off to go that big. And I'm trying to make a lot of stacks and get exposure through different stacks. I mean, I think underdog is really it's a DFS contest that lasts 20 weeks, right? That's essentially what it is.
Yeah.
So I really enjoy all the exposure stuff and trying to kind of map out who I like the most and getting the most, but not that many on 30. Let me pull it up. I also think I need to get my power cord here soon because I'm going to die.
So here's the funny thing. Here in NFFC, you have a KDS. So you get to select like your draft spot preference.
Mm-hmm.
And early on, I was doing pick 1 and then going to the back end because of the 3rd round reversal, right? And I like the players that are back there in the 1st, 2nd round. So I was getting the number one pick often, to the point where I was a decent amount of drafts in, and I had 30% Justin Jefferson.
That's very good.
So it's very good, as long as he doesn't get hurt. But I felt like I was like, whoa, I got to kind of calm this down. Like that's a decent amount of exposure to like the consensus number one pick.
I love to brag about this. I had 33% Jefferson his rookie year, which, because again, very late. He was a late pick.
Yeah.
And that worked out really well. I have a ton of Zay Jones, a ton, 25%. Let's see who else I have a lot of.
So we're 3 picks away. While you look at that,
my guy I keep taking is Jacoby Myers. 25% Jacoby Myers.
Okay, all right. So
what do you think of him?
So with Garoppolo at QB, a lot of people are shitting on the Raiders' offense.
A lot of people are idiots, though.
With you being high on Adams and having 25% Myers, and you like, it sounds like you're high on Jacobs. So you like everything about that offense.
Most quarterbacks, besides like the top, like really great, are all kind of like league average, right?
Yeah.
At that point. And you can look at DVOA with our new guy, Aaron Schatz, and see that Jimmy Garoppolo is actually not that bad of a quarterback. They didn't ask him to do all that much in San Francisco. However, if you go to our splits tool and you look at games in which San Francisco was pressed offensively, meaning the opponent
pretty damn well, like 18 and 20 points a game for fantasy. So
we're on the clock. We got 45 seconds.
Yep.
You tell me what you like here. I think it's a receiver. You just tell me which ones you like, and we'll pull the trigger.
I would take Mike Williams here without hesitation, probably. If it was my own team, I would just take Mike Williams and get some.
Okay, so over Drake London?
Oh, not even close. Like, I have him significantly higher.
Okay, and over Chris Godwin?
Oh, it's not even close.
Not even close. Let's do it. All right.
We're trying to win the fucking league here, Like, we don't want Chris Godwin. Like,
the league, listen, we're just trying to make the playoffs in the league. What we're trying to do is win $250K.
That's what I mean. We're trying to win $250K. So, like, let's go for a home run pick.
All right.
I love the new offensive coordinator there. The ADOT's going to increase. The checkdowns are going to decrease. That's why I'm not taking as much Eckler. Eckler averaged 4.4 targets per game in his last 8 once Keenan and Mike Williams were on the field. He averaged 10 targets per game. I think it was 10.1 with those guys off the field. Now, I still think they're going to throw to Eckler. I'm not saying he's not going to catch balls.
Yeah.
But like 6 to 7 targets, that's a big difference.
All right. So,
all right, my man, what do you want to do?
Well, we can go wide receiver and kind of go a little bit of a zero running back type of build. We could go take a running back here. I don't love anybody here. Like, I don't have to have any of these running backs.
Yep. Yeah, Ken Walker is exciting, but not as much in a full PPR, right?
Yep.
Joe Mixon has some risk, but would be the guy that I would take here probably if I was going to take a risk on an RB1, right? Kind of taken later.
Yeah.
If it works out. But I can definitely wait on running back. And I would probably
Godwin, McLaren, or Kirk.
I would go Kirk here and get a piece of that Jacksonville offense that you love so much. What do you think?
I'm very high on that Jacksonville offense. I think they're the next offense to explode. That's going to come on the scene. I think Lawrence is going to be in the same conversation as Mahomes, Allen, and Hurts next year. I know people are going to, people that don't see it right now, are going to joke and laugh at that statement, but it happens all the time. Every year there's always something, an offense, a player that, takes off. And I started to see glimpses of Lawrence and the star that in the making type. And he has a competent coach. Ridley now is there with those weapons. They have Christian Kirk, Ridley, Zay Jones, Evan Ingram, ETN, Bigsby. Like it's got that feel of the
Even
type of
the new tight end too. I can't think of the rookie's name, but even he has some juice. Like, so they upgraded that position from Arnold. So yeah, dude, I really like them a lot. And if we can still get ETN like late, or did he already go out? I guess
he went right before us.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. So we have a while here now.
Yes, we do.
I got my power cord in, so we've.
All right, what do you want to talk about?
All right, so now we can just kind of do what we said. Like, let's look 20 picks down the row here and look at who we're going to be looking at.
All right, so the way we built this team, again, a lot of people don't like building a team this way because they want to see like those green stickers on the board and they feel uneasy going into the season. But I will say this. So my team in the primetime main event in this format that I drafted live in New York was from the back end. And that's how I started my draft. I went 4 wide receivers, a quarterback, and then I went and took my running back and a tight end. So that particular main event team finished second overall. And it had the opportunity Monday night to win $250K, but they canceled the game, and I didn't have James Cook go. So I lost out on that. And there was, potential for that to happen. I only needed like 9 points or something like that out of James Cook.
Yep. Thank you for setting me up. Yeah. So like I'm still tilting that game. If T. Higgins would have, probably given me 10 to 15 points, I would have taken at least $500,000. If he had 22 points or more, I could have won the $2 million. That's simple.
It was possible. It wasn't unrealistic, and that's what makes it tough, with that game. But I just wanted to bring that up because I do go back and I review draft boards and I look at where teams finished last year. Like what were my shitty teams, right? I'll look at those, even though it's depressing to look at, and then I'll look at the draft boards of like my good teams. And the common denominator on all those teams was my shitty teams. I made, bad first or second round picks that busted, but I had terrible quarterback play. So I had teams with like Aaron Rodgers and like Derek Carr, and like that was just garbage. So like the teams that had Mahomes and Josh Allen and Hurts, they were like doing laps around me. And that was one thing that I said I needed to correct.
Yep.
And I also liked punting, running tight end, the tight end position. And I had terrible tight end play on all my shitty teams. So that was another thing that I had noticed that I needed to adjust.
Funny you said that. All my good underdog teams always have good tight ends. So I really have tried to prioritize tight end. That doesn't always mean taking them early, but if I wait late, I'm going to grab 3 late. So for instance, I'm going to go Higbee, like Everett and Conklin or Hurst.
Yeah.
And go like kind of like quantity over quality at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas before I might have only gotten 2 back end guys. Now I want 3 unless I have one of the top guys, and then I can go 2 tight ends.
I focus on tight end. I've definitely focused more on getting one of these like higher end tight ends, and then once the tier breaks, I feel like you can wait a couple of rounds, and then I kind of double tap it where I'll take 2 of those guys rather than one and then just kind of completely punting it to the Hurst range. Like I like Hurst. I like those players that you mentioned, like even like a K. Dotton, a Hunter Henry.
Super late. Yep.
Yeah. Those guys you can get super late, but like I just want to get like a couple of guys with like upside and just see like if one pans out that I can just becomes a mainstay in my lineup.
Yeah, and I think best ball is a lot different than this format because I don't want to play any of those dickheads in this. I would rather get like kind of my cutoff here is going to be Freemuth, Fryermuth, however you say it. Yeah,
and that's the thing, that the difference between redraft and best ball is that, you know, I can do that where I go Higbee and then take, you know, Hayden Hurst and like Kate Otten, and okay, I don't need to decide. I don't need to pick who's gonna do well this week. You know, it's gonna optimize it. Where redraft, you got to make that lineup call. You got to look at matchups. You got to see, you know, you really have to micromanage your teams more. And I just think that like the QB and tight end position is one of those that I don't really want to. I don't want to do that. I want a tight end that's a kind of like a fixture in the offense and is going to get consistent targets week in, week out. They're going to have their bad games, but for the most part, they're part of their offense. Like, you know,
we're seeing a run right now. So we just had Pitts go and then Waller go. Usually, you know, people love to follow the herd. So I would not be surprised to see Kittle go whatsoever. Goddard, I don't know if we want it with the AJ combo. To me, Evan Ingram's my guy. I've been taking him a lot. I know people are not as high on him as I am, but we can just look at a lot of data that we have, and he's not a tight end, you guys. He's an absolute wide receiver at this point of his career. He blocked on 3.7% of his plays last season. Like that just means he's out running routes. That he's not even in line. He's upright in the slot and he's running routes. And to me, the tight end position is also very injury based because it is a much tougher position. Like Kittle is actually playing tight end, right?
Yeah.
I would rather have a guy like Ingram who's running a bunch of routes. Greg Dulcich, Higbee is, I guarantee Higbee barely ever blocks anymore. So anyway, those are the guys I'd be looking at if we don't make it.
Okay.
Well, I guess, I mean, we already missed on Waller. I know you like him a lot too, right?
Waller, yeah. So Waller and Hawkinson are like two of the guys that are targets of mine this year.
Yep.
So we missed out on that. I feel like tight end, if like the right running backs are there, we could go two there. If they dry up a little bit and, you know, a tier breaks a little bit, we could go tight end if one of them's there that we like.
Yeah, this ADP is really wacky. To me, the underdog ADP is by far the sharpest on the market, and it's not even particularly close. And some of the shit I'm seeing in this, like for instance, I'll give you a couple for instances. Ready? Javonte Williams goes before Miles Sanders, before Madison. Like that would never happen. Before Kenneth Walker. That's all fucking flip-floppy.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, now we're looking at Rachaad White as a RB1.
So that's my favorite guy.
He's a cutoff for me too, and on a tier. So yeah. I wouldn't mind taking him here, to be honest, because after that it gets a little dicey at running back for sure.
Yeah, that's the guy I like. So right, I think we go there and then reassess. So White, and now is there another running back that we want to take here, or does it just feel like these guys are all kind of, you know, whatever? And do we try to take an edge at tight end?
I think we're kind of reaching here. I don't take Kittle. Like personally, he's a guy I fade. Again, I love our splits tool. I talk about it all the time. And if you just run splits with Debo and Ayuk in the lineup,
Yeah.
So,
What does he have? Like less than a 15% share, right?
oh, it's
Target?
bad. Yeah, and his fantasy points drop off a cliff. And when you see his spike weeks, they're with Debo out. And yeah, like maybe someone's out and he does that again. And that's very possible. But I was without injuries needing to happen for my guy to go off, you know?
Yeah.
So right now I'd be looking at, I know Swift is a little bit risky. I'd rather take the other guy much later in the draft, Gainwell.
Okay.
James Conner is probably the running back I would take here for his PPR status.
Yep.
That he makes the most sense with the team build, I think, right now, because I think we'll get a good tight end coming back still, unless you wanted to take Dallas G here, but I think that's a little early for him, no?
Yeah, Goddard. He goes right around this range in this format,
Yeah.
but I don't have much Connor, so I would be totally fine taking him to.
Up two PPR studs at our starting running back spot, right? Which is full PPR. I quite like.
Okay.
Let's do it.
So Connor's the pick?
Connor's the pick. A lot of people take Connor before White too, so it's kind of nice he stayed there for us.
Yeah. I mean, he's on a shitty offense, and I try to avoid shitty offenses in general, but to start the year,
I have a counter.
he's going to be
a PPR running back. You actually kind of want him on a shitty team, and the reason is game script is going to dictate whether or not they run or pass, right?
Yeah.
So if
Absolutely.
they're always down, he's going to always be getting check downs. Also, because they have shitty quarterback play, I think this guy is going to catch so many balls this year. And as long as he stays upright. But I know you have a guy that we can take, like in the 20th round, to protect him, right?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we can take him for sure.
Yep. And that's not going to be Marlon Mack because he left practice with an injury.
Yep. Yeah, that's the big topic in our Slack today is Kareem Hunt, actually.
Yeah. So supposed to sign with the Saints?
Yeah, now or the Colts.
But so he left. The report I saw was that he was supposed to visit and work out, didn't work out with them, was told to go to Indy right away, and that basically like they want him.
That's too bad. I love the rookie. I was hoping he'd get more run.
Evan Hull.
Love him on tape.
I have a shitload of Evan Hull. I've drafted him in every draft pretty much. And,
I'm still going to keep doing it, man, because I think talent kind of wins out in the NFL. And I think it's going to be more talented than an old washed-up Kareem Hunt in his 4.5 or 6.40 that he came out with. That's the thing with Hunt is he never was like a superior athlete. He was really good in 2017. Scott Spratt pointed out he was really good. But 2017 for a running back is like who cares? That's so long ago for a running back. So you probably want to get a tight end here on the way back, I'm guessing.
Let's see. We're going to be at the 8-9 turn. Yeah, I mean, I would like to. Yeah.
The guy I have is JSN would be like my highest rated PPR player on the board, I believe, unless does the Minnesota kid last in this format? I love him.
He's off the board. Addison.
Then JSN is easily my top wide receiver. Doesn't even make sense that he's still around. Oh, and there he went.
So it's interesting because this will have to be for like maybe another day where we discuss JSN, because I think in Dynasty or whatever keeper league it's one thing, but like for redraft, I just don't believe that he's going to push aside Lockett or DK this year.
Well, no, he's not going to push him aside, but Lockett's going to go outside and he's going to go in the slot. And if you look at what they ran all at the end of last year was a ton of 3 wide receiver sets, 11 personnel, not 12. And they got Fant and, their tight ends. I don't think they drafted this kid in the first round to run out like a tight end too. So you're going to be seeing 11 personnel, which means he's the slot receiver, which in a PPR is like he's going to have all the high volume targets, whereas Lockett's going to be more high ADOT, more TDs, big splashes, but like some really rough floor weeks for Lockett this year, where JSN, I believe, is going to be a really consistent, really good PPR machine. That's my take.
Okay. I got a few guys ranked over JSN, and as we get closer, if they're still on the board.
Yeah, he's gone too. He went as we were talking.
Yeah, JSN did. Yeah.
And Quentin Johnson went. Sutton went. I hate fucking Sutton. Thomas went. I don't understand a lot of these ADPs. Like Brandon Cooks Zay Flowers would be my guy right now, probably.
Zay's, that's my guy.
Yeah, that's my guy I'd get right now.
No, that's my guy.
Yeah, so we'll get your guy, Zay Flowers, if he makes it to us.
Yeah.
All right.
Unless you want to get your guy, and we'll just take Zay Flowers.
And we'll take Zay Flowers. Okay.
All right.
Oh, yeah, that's good that we're aligned on this. Hopefully, seems like every time we talk about a player, he gets drafted like about 3 seconds later. So
yeah, I think we're on like a little bit of a delay, but if any of these guys in the draft room are listening in, and they just want to like, tilt us a little bit, definitely.
Other guys I would take right here is my guy Evan Ingram, who by ADP goes at 92, and we will be at 95 and 98. I think he's next in the PPR. Who else would you take here if our boy gets taken?
I like Zay, Elijah Moore, Treylon Burks, and Sky Moore. And then for tight end, I don't even mind just going Kincaid and doing the hookup with Allen.
You don't think he'll make it back to us?
In the end of the 10th round, he's been gaining a lot of steam.
So this ADP here, you think is really jaded from early drafts? Because it says
it is
51, right?
100% it is, yeah.
But he's not going to go before Njoku, Schultz, is he? Or maybe right in front of Schultz?
He has been.
Flowers. Fuck you, dude, if you're watching.
Yep. Look at this fucker.
God, I hope children are not watching this live stream because there's been about 100 F-bombs. But that is the worst when you have someone queued up and the guy right in front of you takes them. All right. Well, moving along.
All right. So you got Elijah Moore as a number 5 wide receiver. And,
I like the upside. Yep.
And you got Ingram.
Yep. And you could try to get ballsy and wait for Ingram on the way back.
The dude in the 12 hole has Kittle. I just don't think it makes sense for him to take Ingram, even though this is kind of late for Ingram. I would go Elijah.
Yeah, him or Sky. Yeah, let's go Elijah.
I think Moore's in for a good year in Cleveland.
I mean, what I like is it's a home run pick, right? Like,
yeah.
We're not here to like come in, like we said earlier. Let's just try to win it. Mike Williams, Elijah Moore,
Moore was so good his rookie year, and what happened last year was Zach Wilson sucks, is what happened, and he basically told Zach Wilson that you suck, and the coaches weren't happy with it and everything, and then that's how he kind of fell out of favor with that coaching staff, and why you were seeing him 1 target, 0 targets, it just didn't make
something like that internal.
Yeah, it was something internal that happened there, and then he gets traded, and I think in like year 3 he's reinvigorated. He's motivated to have a big year. Watson, second year back after a long layoff. I could see that offense take off.
All
All
right.
right, we get your boy Ingram.
We get my boy Ingram here, and we get one of the last tier top tight ends, in my opinion. Yep. And we got a lot of exposure to your guy T-Law without actually having to draft him.
Yes. Yep.
And now if we can get that backup connection with Kincaid, I'd be all about it, to be honest.
Yeah. So like on the next turn, if he made it to us, I like double tapping tight end.
Yes.
And, yeah.
Knock on wood, but Evan Ingram is not exactly the picture of durability in his career. Yes.
Absolutely. Yep. And I just think like this year's draft class with the tight ends, it's a different breed. And I know like you look at history, and I've been big on not avoiding rookie tight ends. And as we talk about him, he goes. But
that's all we have to do is talk about someone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's talk about Kadarius Toney so someone takes him and doesn't make me have to take him.
Yeah.
To me, he's the highest upside player on the board, and it's not particularly close. We could have almost made the case for him with this last pick, just because if he does stay healthy, we already have so many great wide receivers, so that kind of gives you the ability to take some risk. And then the other thing we could look at here is getting.
What do you think of Jameson Williams? Do you consider him one of those like home run picks?
I like it a lot more in best ball, to be honest, because it's like we're going to wait for him. And then in this type of a format, like just rolling him right out, it's going to be kind of sketchy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now we're talking about like 7-8 weeks. And how close are we now to the playoffs? And we haven't gotten anything from this guy yet. So that's why I would rather go up to Jacoby Myers in a PPR. Usually I would take Zay Jones too, but I'm not going to take another Jacksonville pass catcher here. But yeah, Myers would be the receiver that I hope makes it back. Let's put him in there so someone takes him. And who are your favorite running backs on the board right now?
Right now? So you wanted me to just rattle off a bunch of names so these guys,
Yeah, like if you were to rank these guys left, believe it or not.
Brian Robinson by far.
Okay. Even in a PPR, you like him more than, let's say, Jerick McKinnon.
I do. Yeah. And it's just because I think people, they're enamored with Antonio Gibson, and I don't think they realize that like with Brian Robinson, those coaches really like him, and people are going to look at it and just say, Brian Robinson, he's a scrub. Look how bad he looked last year. The dude got shot, okay, before the season started, and he came back and actually played, which, like, if you think about it, is mind-boggling.
Now, who do you think got drafted while you were telling the story about Brian Robinson?
Brian Robinson.
Of course.
Yeah.
This is getting pretty comical, actually.
But what you do is look at the last few games of the season, and you'll see that like Robinson was starting to come on, like he was starting to get hot. And I think that's what it was. Like, I mean, the dude had to recover, from gunshot wounds, and you didn't really see how good he can be. So he just kind of looked like this like slug, just whatever jag type of running back. And Gibson's the one with the juice. He's going to catch a ton of passes because Beneby came over from Kansas City. But Sunday's going to come, the lights are going to come on, and people are going to be confused why Robinson's getting so much run in games.
Yeah, so if you've read the Almanac at all, he loves the Washington defense this year.
Mm-hmm.
And now Jacoby Myers has been taken. So literally we have not named a player because we went Kincaid, Toney, Robinson, and Myers, the last four players we mentioned.
Yep. Absolutely.
But anyway, they really like the Washington D. And so I love looking at script when determining players' usage, right? So, Yeah, Antonio Gibson's great in games that they're going to be down. They're absolutely going to have him on the field. There's no doubt about it. He's going to be that back. But if they are in close games, which is literally like 8 points and less, which are most football games, especially with a good D, you're going to get a lot of Robinson and a mixture in of Gibson. Yep.
Yeah, so if the Washington defense is for real, like you said, they're going to be in close games. Right. They're not going to have to be in this hurry up. Gibson is just on the field the whole time. They're going to be playing, closer games, running the ball. You got Sam Howell at QB, where I don't know what he's going to do. Like when I was reviewing and doing my rankings, and I looked up Sam Howell, I'm like, all right, quarterback for Washington, Sam Howell. Let me see what this guy's all about. I was shocked to realize that his last season in college, he ran for over 800 rushing yards.
Yep, but he is not fast. If you look at his profile, he's like what's his name? Sam Darnold. And I know that Player Profiler has that exact comp, right? Where he's not fast, but he's got that slippery ability to get out and make some plays. David Jones, who is sharp as hell, as you know, is all about him. Freaking loves him. So I am starting to pay attention to him more and more because Tenacious D knows his shit.
Yeah, so when I saw that, I was like, this is intriguing. Let's see what this offense does look like, because if this kid can run, that's no joke. Even if he's not fast, if you're running for 800 yards in college, I think it was double-digit touchdowns. It was 10 touchdowns too. So this offense could be sneaky good if he ends up being just average.
Agreed. So
what are we looking at here coming back?
I wanted McKinnon. He just went. It's definitely been a sharp draft in the last few rounds. They're really killing us here. You might want to take Njoku if he makes it back, because a lot of people take him ahead of Ingram, right? So I don't know if we'll be beating our heads into the wall trying to figure out who to start.
I mean,
we could take. I don't know about a backup quarterback when you invest in.
No. So remember, we got to get the best ball, thought process.
I agree.
Out of our minds, because cross off all the quarterbacks. We have Josh Allen.
We're not going to bench Josh Allen. Fair enough.
Yeah. We're using that bench spot to take handcuff type of running backs. So
then we'll go get one on the waiver wire for that week, right?
Exactly. Yeah. I do think we need to. I mean, I could go wide receiver here, just to add a sixth guy. There's a couple of guys that I do like that are sticking out to me that are still available, and I think a running back take
a running back here, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I don't want to say the name I want because we keep getting trolled. Oh, he just went. So maybe it's
Jamal.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did want Jamal there because I think no matter what the situation is, his situation is locked. He's going to be an early down guy. He's going to be the goal line guy. He'll catch a few more passes than you might think. He was on my team that almost won $2 million, so I'm a little bit biased. I like him.
Okay.
He seems to be an underappreciated fantasy asset, consistently. He did lead the league in touchdowns last year, did he not?
Yes, he did. He did. So there's two receivers that stick out to me.
Okay.
And then there's two running backs that I like here. I'm not going to mention their names.
Okay.
We'll wait till we're on the clock.
Agreed.
And then we'll decide what we want to do.
Agreed. Yeah, we're 2 picks away.
And okay, there's the running back. That was one of the running backs that I liked.
Okay, so Tank Bigsby just went. What's funny is everyone loves Bigsby, right? The best backup running back in the NFL to draft, and it's not even particularly close, is Tajay Spears. So if you want, like, he's going to have individual value every single week. And if, God forbid, something happens to the King, he's like the league winner this year.
Yeah, so I have Tajay ranked pretty high.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm good. Let's take him here.
Okay.
And then potentially we could come back with a sixth wide receiver, because that's the strength of our team is we went, 4 wide, and we've got that number 5. But I like having really good depth because you have injuries, you have bye weeks, and then just matchups, because you never know. Like, one of these guys could emerge that went in the later rounds, and all of a sudden you're playing them over like a Christian Kirk. I know it sounds like crazy right now, but it could happen. So the wide receiver that I like, that I think could like be really good this year, is DJ Chark.
Oh, wow. See, he's not even remotely on my radar with this particular group that's still on the board.
Okay.
Just because I think the offense is going to be really run heavy. I'm not sold on the little tiny quarterback. And they actually have a lot of pass catchers. Like, they have the tight end, they have Thielen, they have the rookie, like they have Terrence Marshall. It's like, for a team that's not going to pass a lot, they have a lot of mouths to feed.
So if we don't go there,
Yep.
There's other wide receivers you like, and do we just go ahead and take another running back? Is there something that sticks out to you?
Yeah, and do you not like Njoku's value here now? Because we have our starter, we can just get someone late. I'm kind of there.
I'm okay. Like,
go ahead.
That's part of my strategy. Is I usually take 2 when I wait at tight end. I take 2 of them pretty quickly, so I'm fine with Njoku here.
Another upside pick is Tyler Algier, because God forbid something happens there, we have our second kind of league winner.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the wide receiver spot, like Rashee Rice, like, I don't think it was a serious injury, so he would be the guy I take at wide receiver. In terms of straight up winning the league, he could be that guy. But I'll let you take whoever you want here.
All right.
You took Rashee Rice. I freaking love it.
Yeah, I'm gonna take him. He's our number 6 wide receiver. Typically, in my builds in redraft, I like to have 7 wide receivers.
Okay.
And then the rest are just handcuff running backs, because on the waiver wire I can cut them, I can add guys. So, and we'll be set at wide receiver, having 3 backups on the bench.
Perfect. You know what? The report I need to know is Jerome Ford's injury, because I love him. He would have gone before Tajay, I believe, and possibly even Tank, or he goes right around them.
He goes later than them.
But because he got the hamstring,
he's going to go even later now.
And I think, like, so for instance, we took Kareem Hunt last year in like the 6th or 7th round, if I recall, right?
Yes.
Because we like the number 2 running back in Cleveland due to the scheme and the offensive line so much, right?
Right.
And Hunt has a much worse profile than Ford, and it's not even particularly close. Not to mention he's got like 6 years of NFL work on his back, which is not a good thing for running backs. Running backs is a young man's game. So to me, like, I don't understand. He's my number 2 most rostered running back on Underdog, so pray that he's not hurt.
Yeah.
Because I just don't understand why he's discounted to the 13th, 14th, 15th when we all wanted Hunt last year in the 6th and 7th.
He's discounted because there's no news on him. So the coaches have kind of said that he'll have some type of role, but until you hear from like a coach and a beat reporter from Cleveland saying, hey, listen, I'm here at practices, and Jerome Ford is like, he's the hurry up guy. He's on passing downs. He's getting worked into the offense. He would move way up. You're not getting that news, so that's why he just kind of stays. I call it purgatory. There's so many of these guys where, if you really analyze it and just step back and look at it from an NFL perspective, like, how are they going to use these players? What's the history with these coaches? Ford totally makes sense to just, take that role, the Kareem Hunt role. A lot of people, though, are projecting that Chubb is just going to be this 3-down back, so
do the math. The math does not work. How many carries and touches can Chubb get max, in your opinion?
Total touches?
Yeah.
His max, I'm probably going to say like 320, 330.
Right. So they ran the ball 530 times last year, or around there, if my memory serves me. So he had 300 carries last year. They're not going to give him more than 300 carries. 300 is a lot in today's game, right?
And I'm projecting that they're going to be more pass heavy this year.
That's fine. They can definitely be more pass heavy when you're at that kind of a that many carries. Like, they averaged 30 a game last year.
Yeah.
Right. So my point is, right, there has to be like 150 running back touches somewhere on this team, which with that offensive line is pretty good. So anyway.
So what we're going to do, guys, for you guys that are watching and listening in, is we're going to go one more round of this live stream, and then we're going to call it a night. So Kevin, let's finish this up with our 2 last picks here.
Yep.
The way we've built this team at this point, we now have 6 wide receivers, a lot of upside with them. We pushed running back, and we have guys that are coming in with some question marks. Do you think tight end, I don't think, is a position that necessarily needs to be addressed here, unless you think like Higbee needs to be drafted here, but I don't think so. So I would actually go 2 running backs here with these 2 picks.
I just marked the 2 that I like the most on the board.
Okay.
And then, of course, if we want to get, I think this would be the play, the one I just moved up to the top.
I like that one at the top, and I'm gonna put my guy at the top also.
Perfect.
So that's my guy in case
cool.
Things don't work out.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
See, I actually think, though, like, in terms of PPR, it's not really close. He's definitely better. But up to you, just because I think he's already got the 3rd down role, but up to you.
Yeah.
All right, so we're up. We are up.
Yeah.
Let's take our boy, Jerome fucking Ford. Let me read about his injury real quick.
So that's the thing. We don't know how serious that hammy is, but we can definitely take him here. I'm totally fine.
Yeah, who cares? Let's go for the upside.
All right.
Because it could just be a nothing training camp thing where they're being cautious.
All right. And then I would like to come back with my guy.
Cool.
Here at the top.
Yeah, for your last pick before you sign off, and I'm doing the rest of the team?
Yes. Yep.
Yep, it should be your guy. Go for it.
Okay.
And then we'll quickly tell everyone who my guy was, and then they can argue with who was smarter.
Yep. And so, guys, listening in, we're with FTN Fantasy. If you liked this live stream, please hit the like button, share, leave comments, thumbs up. We would all appreciate it. and go visit FTN Fantasy and take a look at what we got going on there. I have a high stakes package that you can sign up for. That gives you access to my rankings, my fade list, and the Discord channel, which I'm on there pretty much 24/7. You can ask me questions at any time leading up to your draft, all draft season. And then during the season, I have my waiver wire fab article that comes out on a weekly basis. And I'm on the Discord again for lineup calls, trade questions, anything you guys have.
And Nelson is pretty much always on Discord. I can give him a huge shout out for the amount of time he takes with the subscribers is truly like nothing I've ever seen. Like the guy really, really cares about your team. So yeah, highly recommend Nelson as the number one in the industry. It's not even particularly close. All right, so your guy that you just took as your last pick is Zamir White, because you think the floor might drop out of the Josh Jacobs situation, and he might have a little standalone value even if Jacobs plays this year.
Yep.
And if something happens to him via injury or trade, we have basically a steal of a pick in the 13th round.
Listen, my thought process, yeah, exactly. My thought process on the whole situation is this. There's a small percentage chance he holds out, okay? Small percentage. If he doesn't hold out the whole season and just holds out through the preseason, he comes in, he's not in football shape, he gets injured, it's the Zamir White show. Or they find a trade partner and Jacobs gets traded for a draft pick and it's the Zamir White show.
Yep. Agreed. He does not profile as a pass catcher, and that is why I recommended we take Kenneth Gainwell in that spot in a full PPR. I think it's kind of ridiculous that the ADP difference between Gainwell and Swift, like it doesn't make any sense to me. No one even knows that Swift is going to outtouch Gainwell at this point. Not to mention, Swift has a ton of injury risk. He's always hurt. Clearly, he's not been like the locker room favorite, right? Where Gainwell was literally the number one running back in the Super Bowl last season in terms of snaps, right?
Yeah.
So I think Gainwell is a ridiculous value this late. And with that, I wish you the best on your podcast tonight, Nelson Sousa.
All right.
All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us. I will do another live stream per this in 2027. So tune in.
Excellent. Have a good night, guys.
Later, guys.